Sometimes when you want to get out and explore, you just have to take the road less traveled, which is exactly what I'm doing today. Looking at the map while traveling across Big Sky Country, I noticed a small dot on the map labeled Granite Ghost Town, and I thought to myself, that is definitely someplace that needs to be explored. And since I'm driving by, this is probably the only chance I'll ever get to see what's left of this little piece of American history. So I decided to take the side trip and see what's left of the abandoned town of Granite, Montana. And that's how I found myself driving up this rutted mountain road 3 miles east of Phillipsburg, Montana. Granite was once known as the Silver Queen City, as it was the largest silver mine in the country. The state of Montana now maintains the grounds as a state park for the purpose of education and preservation. Well, welcome to an impromptu edition of Get Out and Explore with John. I'm still here in Montana. I was on my way back to the airport and I saw on the map another ghost town. So you know I had to go check it out. So look what I have behind me, man. This is looking pretty cool. This is called Granite Ghost Town. We're gonna go check it out. It was a heck of a drive to get in here off of the last paved road. It's about 2.5 miles to get back up in here. We had some serious ruts in the gravel road, as you saw, and 2.5 miles took me well over 20 minutes to get here, so tells you how bad it was. But this place is looking pretty promising, so I want to get up there and check things out. So bring you along with me. Hope you enjoy it. As I make my way down Main Street of what was downtown Granite, the first thing I come across is the remains of the Hyde and Fritschlag Bank. The only portion of the bank that is still left is this stone bank vault here. It has about 3-foot thick walls, and as you can see, it's pretty tiny, but this is the only portion of the only bank in Granite that is still remaining. Whatever was here, all that's left is just the stone foundation. Yeah, not a whole lot here. And here's another, well, here's a collapsed building, and then one that's still standing next to it. Maybe we can take a peek inside of that one. No idea. I'm just taking you along, show you what I found. Okay. Yep. There's an old bed and a dresser and a collapsed roof. And that's about all we got left here. As you make your way a little further down Main Street, you will come across the remains of a very large building. This was the Union Hall, opened in 1890, and it was the social hub of the town, consisting of offices, lounges, a large rec room with billiards, meeting rooms for secret orders, such as the Freemasons. It also boasted what was considered the Northwest's finest maple dance floor for large parties. As you can see, there's only a shell of what was there originally, and it's getting ready to crumble down, so they have it blocked off so that nobody can get in there. But it's pretty cool to see such a large building here. And here's a picture of what it looked like back in the day. At its peak, Granite's Main Street boasted 18 saloons, rooming houses, restaurants, a newspaper office, a library, a hospital, a school, and 4 churches. And down over the gully on the opposite side of the road was the area known as Chinatown, as apparently every boomtown had to have a Chinatown. And of course, next to the Chinatown was the red light district. As you make your way to the end of Main Street, you'll come across this quaint little yellow cottage. This is where May Werning, the last resident of Granite, lived until 1969, when she passed away at the age of 75. After her passing, Granite officially became a ghost town. At the opposite end of town, on Magnolia Street, you will come across this beautiful 2-story stone house. This is where the Granite Mining Company superintendent Thomas Weir, and his wife lived. It was built here in 1889, and they lived on the first floor of the house. On the second floor was the mining company's offices, which were accessed from an entrance on the rear of the house. As you climb up the side of the hill, you would have to go across a bridge to enter the upper level of the structure. It was in this area along Magnolia Street where all of the elites of Granite lived. As I make my way out of what was downtown Granite and make my way over towards the area where the mills were, I wanted to give you a little backstory on the town of Granite itself. As the story goes, in 1865, a prospector by the name of Hector Horton discovered quartz outcroppings rich in silver. Foolishly, he told a few of his fellow prospector friends about his find, and soon the area was flooded with others trying to strike it rich. Most of the claims were staked out by 1866. Although most of the area was staked out, nothing of any significance happened until 1871, when Eli Holland, who was tracking a wounded animal, stumbled across a small quantity of high-quality ruby silver. The granite mine was established on that very spot and owned by Holland until 1875, when the title on the mine lapsed. So it was basically abandoned until 1877. It was only then that Charles McClure discovered more silver in the area. Knowing that he might have found something to develop, he traveled to St. Louis to secure financing to begin the development of the Granite Silver Mine more extensively. Investors from St. Louis, Missouri, financed the mine in the amount of $10 million, but after 2 years of mining, they had nothing to show for their efforts. So the decision was made to shut down and abandon the mine in November of 1882. A telegram was sent from St. Louis via Pony Express. Luckily, it was delayed by a blizzard on which the Pony Express couldn't get through. Ironically, on the last day of operations, the last shift of work, and the last blast to be placed by the miners, they struck the mother lode and nicknamed the shaft the Bonanza Chute. This would be the resurgence of the mine that eventually produced over $40 million of silver and gold between 1885 and 1892. It was at this point that Granite became Montana's largest silver mine, known as the Queen City. While surveying another piece of land in 1881, McClure found another rich vein of silver and purchased this claim. After doing so, he offered to sell it to the Granite Mining Company at cost. They refused, so McClure created the Bimetallic Company. With the two mines operating simultaneously next to each other, the amount of ore that was being produced was too much to be processed on site. So what you see here is part of the remains of a 9,750-foot-long tramway, which was the longest in the country at the time. It had a vertical drop of 1,225 feet and made its way all the way down to Kirkville, where they processed the ore. Be careful where we're stepping. There's old rusty nails sticking out of all this wood. Ooh. Check out the size of this thing. Holy smokes. What in the world is this? Wow, that is massive. Oh, it goes way back up in there. All right, if there's a way to get up there, I'm gonna give it a shot, so stay tuned. Wow. Yep, maybe right here. All right, I'm gonna turn the camera off and I'll see if I get up to the top for you. Up on this level, I find myself standing in the middle of what remains of the two stamp mills run by the Granite Mining Company, known as Stamp Mill A and Stamp Mill B. They housed a total of 70 stamps to process the ore. The stamps crushed the ore to separate the meta from the base material. The mines here produced enough material that these mills operated 6 days a week. So, old bricks laying here. See if I see any markings on any of them. It doesn't look like it. Oh, am I going across the little bridge here? No, it's just the ground. Pretty massive. I think this mine started somewhere around 1875 and continued for about, I think, 15 years, and then it closed up. And then I was reading on one of the signs there, it reopened in the early 19-teens for a brief while. This was a silver mine, mainly a silver mine here, and they hit a really good vein of silver. But wow, way cool. Okay, so here's the top of what we were just looking at a second ago. Still got one more level up a little higher here. See what this is up above. So let's get going up there and I'll bring you along. All right, here we go. Looking pretty dilapidated here. Don't know, I don't think we're gonna venture inside. Looks like it could come crashing down the rest of the way at any point. I mean, that part's already down, and what's left of this could be down at any moment. Whoa, check this out. This whole remaining structure is held up by this one post here. That's pretty cool. But I think I'm not gonna walk underneath of that. I think I'm gonna go around. All right, that's pretty cool. Let's see what we can, if we can get a better view on the backside here and see what this thing was. Oh, there's a chute right there where the ore would come out, I guess, once they pulled it out of the ground, loaded into ore carts. Yeah. That's what they were doing in this building here, trying to break it down into smaller pieces so they could get it down the side of the hill here. And right here behind the stamp mills is one of the projects that Superintendent Weir created to improve the lives of the miners. This is the warming or drying house that he had built adjacent to the entrance to the Ruby shaft, so that when the sweat-soaked miners came out of the mines at the end of their shafts, instead of emerging into the bitter cold winters of Montana, they had a place to warm up and dry themselves off and get into dry clothes so that they didn't get sick and catch pneumonia. Just crumbled building after crumbled building here. Wow. Whatever this thing is, looks fairly intricate, but I can't really make out what it is. Again, if anybody has any idea what you're looking at, please put some comments down below.
Really want to know what this stuff is. Backside of another pile of rubble here. Big giant pipe. Don't know where that went to or what it was for. I guess maybe a water pipe. Maybe they used to help drill when they were drilling down underground. You got barbed wire everywhere, so trying to block off. Oh, there's a big. There looks like one of the major mine shafts right here. Yep, I'm not gonna be able to get over there, but that's a huge hole in the ground. Maybe from the other side we can see it. People obviously are bringing their four-wheelers up here. I mean, look at that view you got. They definitely had a nice view up here to enjoy when they weren't working. And yep, this is the main mine shaft right here. A little shot up, but this is it. I don't think I'm going to be able to get around to the other side. Let's check it out as far as we can. Yep, there it is. Okay, trying to get you all a better view of the mine shaft. I'm up on top of this stone wall that's collapsing. Let's see how sturdy this thing is. Oh yeah, it's a little scary. This is a little scary. Holy crap. Whoa. Woo! Okay. I think that's about as far as we're going, guys. That's pretty cool though. It's a huge shaft. Wow. Alright. Here's the backside of what we were looking at when we were down by the car. Let's see, maybe we can go out this way just a little bit. This looks pretty sturdy here. Okay. Yeah. Oh, this is all right. Okay. There's my car way down there at the bottom. And here we are, next to whatever this thing was. Crazy big.
With the repeal of the Sherman-Silver Act in 1892, which guaranteed the monthly federal government purchase of 4.5 million ounces of silver to boost the economy. This resulted in the lowering of the prices of silver by over 25% in just 1 year, causing the silver panic of 1893, as there was a run on the banks as well as a record number of unemployed workers. The result, after 3 years of prosperity for Granite, was that the mine was shut down immediately, resulting in some 3,000 people leaving the town in just 24 hours. This left only 140 full-time residents. The mines continued to operate until 1896, when the granite mine and the bimetallic mine combined. Between 1898 and 1901, they produced over $1 million of silver annually. They continued to operate until 1913, but at a much lower rate of production as the ore was not as rich at this point. By this time, they were operating a new area called the Blaine Shaft, which went down a total depth of 1,842 feet. But once below the 1,000-foot mark, large amounts of water entered the mine. In order to combat the water, the miners drilled a tunnel into the side of the mine to let the water drain to a lower area on the side of the mountain. The mine continued to operate in this manner until the mid-1930s, when the ore finally ran out and the mine was closed for good. At this point, only a few residents remained in Granite as they tried to eke out an existence on top of the mountain. Unfortunately, in the 1950s, a major fire destroyed most of the town, and that's why we only see a few remaining buildings and foundations from the town that once was the largest silver mine in all of Montana.
Let's take a look around. There's old rusty metal laying all over the place. This looks like the roof of a building that totally collapsed. There's the back side of this guy here. Yeah, pretty dilapidated, and there's another one right there that's completely fallen down. And if you look way back in behind there, you can see piles of the tailings that they dug out of the ground when they were operating the mine. That's what's left over. Look at that. Got a piece of wire wrapped around my leg. All right, let's take a quick peek in here. Again, not gonna go in. I mean, that floor is completely disintegrated, and yeah, totally looks completely unsafe. So that's a no-go. But take a look around the outside of it at least and get a view of that. Looks like somebody tried to do some repairs on this end of the building. Not sure why. I don't think this is ever going to be used again. Yeah, there's a view down the main corridor. That's kind of cool. All the way to the other end. Okay, there's the chimney right here to the left. And you can see right up through the roof. Okay, well, I think that's going to do it for this little video here. Something I saw on the map on my way back to the airport. So hopefully you enjoyed it. We've got to see some of the mine buildings. I didn't really see any buildings that would be housing for the miners or their families, but I mean, still pretty cool nonetheless. So hopefully you liked the video, and if so, please consider giving me a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. And until next time, like I always say, you never know what you're gonna see when you get out and explore with John.